Okay, so this is my video for my cultural autobiography. The first thing to talk about is my intercultural development. The first part, in denial, in which I miss differences. As a brown kid growing up in a predominantly white school district, culture wasn't really something that was a topic of discussion. I mostly considered what the kids in my class did were the same things I did. A lot of kids went to church. A lot of kids, celebrated Christmas. We all celebrated similar holidays. So I never really thought of myself to be different from, the kids I grew up with. In polarization, I would say that when I was in high school, I took a world cultures class, and there we learned about other cultures and how they live their lives, and that's where I guess you could say where I saw it as a us versus them, but never in a really negative light, because the way that my mother's raised me of treating people kindly and how you want to be treated, I never tried to put any type of bias on how people go about their lives. So for minimization, with de-emphasizing differences, I would say with seeing everything in human similarity and universalism, when I came out and started learning about what it meant to be gay in the United States, and learning about oppression and how I am oppressed, I mostly saw it as this isn't, the oppression is an LGBT issue, that's it, I didn't take into consideration that trans issues are their issues themselves, and how, sexual orientation and race and ethnicity can overlap and be intersectional and contribute to more oppression than what I realized. So, any issues that would face LGBT people, I would just see it as that specifically and never put into consideration race or any type of other, any other type of identities. Now, for acceptance, that's and with deeply comprehending differences, that's when I started understanding more of what it meant to be queer, but also queer Latinx individual, and understanding what it meant to be queer and Latino, and where my culture is. But with that, I also started comprehending how, though I'm queer and Latino, I share similar culture with queer Black folk. So an example of that would be the ballroom culture and the voguing scene. That was predominantly done by queer Black and brown people in New York. So to adaptation, building upon the differences, I would say I don't necessarily live the exact life that a queer Black person does, but though we have differences in what our upbringings are, though we have the same type of identities, we have a sense of community. So I've developed relationships with people who identify as queer and of color for my sense of community and who my community is. So with learning about queer Black and brown folk, it made me more involved in learning about other QPOC cultures and how they go about their daily lives.